Hi, and welcome to the Next For Me weekly newsletter for February 27th, 2019. Podcasts for your next act plus South by Southwest. Our newsletter delivers the latest news that inspires our post-50 generation with new work and a new purpose. In our free weekly updates, we discuss work, lifestyle, finance, education, and our communities. Find us at nextforme.com.
Hi, everybody. This is Jeff Tidwell at Next For Me, and we're trying something different this week. We've invited our other founders, Carol McManus and Drew Domkus, into the studio virtually for our very first podcast all together.
Hi, guys.
Hey, everybody.
Yay, great. As well as documenting everything that's coming out in our newsletter each week, we thought we'd have a little chat about what's going on at Next For Me and hope that this can stimulate some conversation among all of you. There's something in particular that's kind of exciting for us. Next Friday, we're going to be at South by Southwest along with Patricia McCall, who's an exciting speaker as well, to join us in a conversation about our recently published market report, which is called Understanding the 50-Plus Worker. So if you're going to be at South by Southwest, it's going to be at the Fairmont Hotel in the Violet Room on the 4th floor, Friday, March 8th, from 5 to 6 p.m. So that's exciting. I just have to get down there.
That is exciting. Who's all going to be there? Is it just you, Jeff?
Yeah, from Next For Me.
Yeah.
A few days later, our advisor and friend Chip Conley is giving a talk as well. Let me see if I can find that. We can talk about that a little bit too. Chip's book out, The Making of a Modern Elder, covers his experience being brought into Airbnb as a mentor and finding out that he actually became a student as well as a teacher. So that's going to be a lot of fun, I think, too. Carol, I know that you've been working on a podcast story this week. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Podcast
absolutely.
About a podcast? Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
We're getting meta.
So yeah. Well, and actually, speaking of meta, one of my podcasts is extremely meta. So, it occurred to me that, those of us who are juggling lots of job duties, juggling family, other responsibilities, don't really have time to kind of sit down and research, the thing that's going to help them go on to their next act. And, when we all have thoughts and dreams for the future, but we don't always have the time to sit down and research them. And so I found 7 podcasts that I think will be helpful to our audience in terms of helping them, get some perspective, get some inspiration for what to do next. And speaking of the meta, one of my recommendations is a podcast called Startup. And that is by former This American Life and Planet Money reporter Alex Blumberg. And he went meta and created a podcast about starting a podcast network. And this was a few years back. And since then, his venture has become hugely successful. But, those of us in the startup world will find a lot of this really fascinating and helpful, because he talks a lot about, just all of the nitty gritty of starting, a new venture. And, there's a very happy ending to this, in that his podcast network, Gimlet Media, has become very successful.
Oh, and they just got bought.
Exactly.
Yeah. By, I can't think of the company, but anyway, Spotify, right?
I'm not Sure.
Yeah, anyway, it doesn't
I
matter.
remember hearing this news.
That would make a lot of sense. Spotify is the next up and coming podcast provider.
Yeah, they sold to Spotify.
Yes, I mean
Alex
that
Bloomberg and Matt Lieber. I'll be darned.
makes sense. They just buy the whole network.
Right.
Yeah.
People say that's going to bite into some of the independents around podcast networks. But anyway, well, that's great news. And what else around the topics of work and career reinvention did you find in your quest for the perfect podcast, Carol?
Oh boy, we're looking at this whole post 50 work situation from lots of different angles. Another one that I really like is Retirepreneur. Our friend Donna Kastner.
Yes.
She has lots of inspiration and lots of quick little snippets, ideas, topics of the week. And the particular episode that we sort of pulled out was about the growing gig economy. It was one of the earlier episodes in the Retirepreneur series. She basically, it's really inspiring. Gigging for a living isn't just for artsy folks, she says. It's for anyone with knowledge, skills, and abilities that businesses crave. Yet they're having a tough time finding and keeping the talent they need in this economy. So that's really inspirational for somebody who, kind of wants to, dip their toe in the water of something new and different. And I really like her approach in that, for various reasons, those of us who are, approaching or are at retirement age don't want to or, need to keep working. And so she's got some really great tips for, kind of dipping your toe in the water of seeing what inspires you, seeing what you really like to do. So I like that one. And the other one I really like called Safe for Work, and our other friend, Karen Wickery, our advisor, and also author of Taking the Work Out of Networking. She was interviewed for this podcast that's about basically making your work life more enjoyable and more satisfying. And it's full of great advice. And they sat down with Karen, who is also full of fantastic advice. And they had some input from one of their listeners who hates networking and didn't even know where to start. And so Karen gave her some really great tips on just getting started with that. And one thing I really liked that Karen was talking about is, she just pointed out the fact that people really do like to help each other. I mean, when you do reach out to your network of friends and former colleagues and stuff, they're generally pretty helpful folks, And certainly, Jeff, you and I have been in that situation before.
Right.
We've been collaborating with each other for years now, and we've always kind of bounced ideas off of each other, and so it's great to kind of have that reinforcement that networking doesn't have to be this big scary thing. Sometimes it's just reaching out to a friend, asking advice, telling them you need help finding your next thing.
Right. And
speaking of helping the people, especially the listeners of this podcast, did you, for this article, have specific episodes that you chose, or just podcasts overall to subscribe to?
Oh yeah, I did. I did pull out specific episodes that I thought would be interesting to folks.
What I'd like to do is link to those specific ones in your post, so that way, listeners can come to your article and listen to those specific ones right away without even leaving. I mean, if they want to go subscribe, they can obviously do that, but it'd be nice to create that audio resource as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and all of these, you don't even have to leave your browser. These will pop right open in your browser, and you can play from there, or you can, use your podcasting tool of choice to listen.
Yeah.
But I did pull out specific episodes of each one of these podcasts that I thought, might kind of resonate with folks. Another one that I really liked was Planet Money, which I've been listening to for years now, because I'm someone who gets really just kind of overwhelmed when the talk goes to financial things and the economy in general. And there was one really great kind of mini episode, which they called when retirement advice goes viral. And it really all started from a tweet that said, by the age of 35, you should have twice your salary saved, according to retirement experts. And that understandably kind of sent some people into a panic when they read that.
I'm going into one now.
You know, yeah. And so in their inimitable way, the Planet Money team kind of broke it down and made it a little bit less scary. And they even found a fantastic resource. They talked to the man who invented the 401k.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
what an awesome resource, Carol. Thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not a podcast listener. I know.
No, I am. I listen
I'm a
to so
rarity.
many. Always looking for more.
Yeah.
Jeff, I'm kind of surprised because I know you do a lot of commuting.
Yeah, I'm nerdy,
and,
but
you know,
Yeah, Jeff, how did we meet? How did you even find me?
yeah, well, I mean, you know, this is the first time all three of us have gotten together on audio, and it should be worth noting that Drew, who is our co-founder here at Next For Me, is actually in the Podcasting Hall of Fame. There is such a thing. And it was, you know, back in 2004, I was nerding around on my iPod at the time and hearing about this thing called podcasting. And there was this unique couple coming from a retired dairy farm in Wisconsin, and it was called The Dawn and Drew Show. Well, the rest is history, and podcasting took off, and Dawn and Drew kept me laughing for years and years and years, and we became friends, of course, and we met a ton of other friends along the way, and Drew and I started working together, and that's how things work, and especially
Jeff was actually the very first person that recognized Dawn and I in public. Outside, just recognized because he heard Dawn's voice or something, and he's like, Dawn and Drew.
Oh, wow.
We were in the parking lot at BloggerCon. It was like the very first person. It was great.
Yeah, and I became Psycho Fan Jeff. And
Yeah, that was his moniker.
And this was before it was easy to stalk someone on social media, right?
Oh yeah, Facebook was still closed. It was still just a school thing. There was no. That was before Twitter. That was it was all message boards and websites. And podcasting.
Yeah. And they're making a comeback.
Yeah.
I think.
I just saw there's a history of podcasting Facebook group, and somebody posted a CNN news blurb about podcasting, and they interviewed a couple of shows, and then they went to Podcast Alley, which did the top 10, and we were number 1 at the time. And we had so much press because of that little top 10.
Yeah. No,
we're glory days of podcasting, and here we are doing
here we are again. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I look forward to that story, Carol, and I'm going to give it a try. I'm a radio listener, you know, which for whatever reason, it's less. There's something about being live that I love, but I know there's so much out there, and I appreciate anybody that's listening to ours because I think we've got some good stuff to talk about. and
Absolutely.
With that in mind, we're having another one of our events. This one will be a little more intimate, where our company is moved into San Francisco for 6 months, and we have a great office provided by this Growth Lab program that we're involved in downtown San Francisco. And so we're inviting some people in for one of our evenings of discussion around the topics of, you know, continuous work as we age and all of that. And they're a lot of fun. So we'll be posting about that this week too, and let us know if you're around and can join us. We always have a nice time, and there's usually a little wine and snacks and beverages for everybody to
there will
grease
be
the wheels. Yeah, grease the wheels. So that's great. Well, let me see what else is happening in Next For Me world this week. We're getting really beautiful awesome from the market report that Carol had a lot to do with, and we appreciate that and hope to share that with more people. And that's going to be the basis of our talk or our group at South by Southwest. So that thing's got legs for a long time, I think, and we're going to continue doing more of that research as we understand this really huge market of folks just like you.
And speaking of folks just like the folks that are listening right now, I do appreciate, all of our followers, all of our audience who took the time to take some of our surveys and who've taken the time to come out for meetups and things and give us some of this really, really great feedback. Because it doesn't only stop with us. I mean, we are sharing this information, we're sharing these concerns, and we're really hoping it starts changing the conversation around being a 50-plus worker.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, it's been great to grab you all really quickly. We just did it, and here we are. And we'll try this again. Huh?
I'd love feedback on this idea. I mean, we could literally, do this little water cooler each week.
Yeah.
Love
I
it.
think that's great. And we'll bring some other folks in too.
For sure.
All right.
Great.
Well, take care, you guys. We'll see
Same
you
to
soon.
you.
Okay.
I got to get back to work. I'm reading a book on sales. How about that?
Oh, God.
Who thought?
Thanks for taking a hit for the team.
You got it. Okay. Talk to you guys later.
Yeah.
Bye.
That's it for this week's podcast. Please find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever else you might find your podcasts. If you'd like to get our news delivered right to your inbox every Wednesday, just sign up at nextforme.com.